Coming up on today's episode of Airborne-Unlimited. Deadline for vans replacements coming up quick. Aircraft lessors reaching settlement with Russia in lawsuits. Army helps repatriate remains of World War II pilot. Welcome to Airborne Unlimited. I'm your host, Holland Lee. Let's get into today's stories. Deadline for vans replacements coming up quick. Vans Aircraft is explaining the upcoming deadlines for those with outstanding orders and issues in order to get things back to normal. The firm has been going through its Chapter 11 process pretty smoothly, all things considered, laying out a plan of attack and making right on problematic parts while filling orders that have piled up. Now the company wants those who had laser-cut parts inside their Vans aircraft kit check whether or not they need to take action. Affected laser-cut parts were generally delivered in shipments from 2022 to the first half of 2023. Such parts replace previously punched holes and elements with a more modern and efficient laser-cut version of the same. Vans has a classification list of such parts, where each is classified as either replacement recommended or acceptable for use. They assure buyers and builders that even should they keep the laser parts, they should be just fine. But as with any performance envelope in aviation, it's good to make that margin as big as possible. The deadline for buyers of standard Vans kits to either turn down parts replacement or to accept the revised parts package is June 30th. For the quick build buyers, the deadline for parts replacement orders is August 31st of this year. The deadlines are firm. After the break, far side lunar samples brought back to Earth.
Backcountry flying to us is our playground. For us, it's how we access the things we like to do. It's just our lifestyle. We exclusively use the Hartzell Voyager Prop, and it's proved to be just a great combination for what we do. What it's doing, it's helping us all have better performing airplanes. Man, it feels a lot better clearing trees by 50 feet versus 20 feet. I don't ever see myself not flying.
For over 30 years, the massive Sport Plane Resource Guide has provided expert, credible information, evaluations, and critical analysis of all that the sport aviation world has to offer. The all-new digital Sport Plane Resource Guide is coming with extensive multimedia features that are constantly updated, an even more comprehensive online guide to all things sport aviation. Available soon. www.sportplane.com.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some shorter stories. Far side lunar samples brought back to Earth. China's Chang'e 6 mission has returned to Earth bearing samples collected from the far side of the moon in a historic first for lunar exploration. Chang'e 4 was the first ever landing of a spacecraft on the far side, and China became the third country after the US and the Soviet Union to return a near-side sample with its Chang'e 5 flight in 2020. The sample return capsule landed Tuesday, June 25th, about 2:07 Eastern, in the Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region. Boeing seeks to acquire Spirit Aerosystems. The Boeing company has offered Spirit Aerosystems $35 a share to acquire the company. The bid has been switched from an original all-cash offer to a mostly stock transaction with some cash. Based on Spirit's outstanding shares as of May 7th, the offer is worth $4.8 billion, representing an almost 6% premium above Spirit's stock closing price on Monday, June 24th, and more than 22% above the share price in February when the takeover talks became publicly known. Safran strike adds to troubles for aircraft industry. Safran SA workers at the Mirabel, Quebec factory began their picket this week, surrounding the factory as the non-strikers kept up the routine of a normal workday. A 5-week-long strike by employees at Safran's Montreal landing gear production line has really gotten into production for their clientele at home and abroad, leaving Airbus and Boeing high and dry until the dispute is resolved. Workers are hoping to get a 22% pay raise. Hangars damaged at North Platte Regional by thunderstorms. Heavy thunderstorms on Saturday severely damaged an aircraft and several hangar doors at North Platte Regional Airport, KLBF, in North Platte, Nebraska. According to the National Weather Service, a small line of thunderstorms moved across northern Lincoln County around 3 a.m. Central. There were reports of trees uprooted as well as damage to homes and hangars by the high winds and flying debris. At the airport, most of the damage was to several hangar doors which were caved in by the winds and potentially caused structural damage as well. Well, that's it for today's trip around the patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. Aircraft lessors reaching settlements with Russia in lawsuits. The Russian invasion of Ukraine in February 2022 effectively trapped about 400 aircraft that had been leased to various Russian commercial airlines. Since then, international aircraft leasing companies have been suing dozens of insurance providers on claims for the aircraft. Upon reaching financial settlements with the Russian state-owned insurance company NSK, the insurers turned over ownership to NSK, who then transferred ownership of the aircraft to the Russian airlines. Insurance claims settled thus far have totaled nearly $3 billion, covering about 100 of the aircraft. The total amount of claims when all is settled could be more than $8 billion. The settlements reached to date include AerCap, the world's largest lessor based in Ireland. Since September 2023 has received $645 million for 17 jets and 5 engines leased to state-controlled airline Aeroflot, and another $572 million for 47 aircraft and 5 engines leased to JSC Ural and JSC Siberia. They also have pending suits against AIG and Lloyd's of London, totaling $3.5 billion for 116 aircraft and 23 engines, and that's far from the total. After these messages, Army helps repatriate remains of World War II pilot.
Well, hello, fellow pilot. I'm John King.
And I'm Martha King.
You know, we've all had our flying lives disrupted lately.
Well, King Schools is here to help you stay up to date with courses that you can access on your desktop, iPad, or iPhone. If you'd like a refresher or just want to expand your aviation horizons, we have a course for you.
So head over to kingschools.com/Rusty today for details.
Welcome back. Army helps repatriate remains of World War II pilot. Many are probably not aware of this, but approximately 72,000 U.S. personnel remain missing from World War II, according to the Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency, the only federal agency tasked with locating and accounting for missing service members active in past conflicts. Several thousand of them are in Europe. Between April 6th and June 8th of this year, U.S. Army paratroopers stationed with the 173rd Airborne Brigade in Vicenza, Italy, assisted DPAA on an archaeological investigation to recover a pilot of a P47 Thunderbolt in central Italy. DPAA does not divulge the location, name of the person, or other details until after identification is confirmed and the family has been notified. Following a painstaking analysis of military reports and records, local contemporaneous reports of a crash or wreckage, an initial team is sent to conduct a preliminary search of the site using ground-penetrating radar, metal detectors, and small-scale soil surveys. If enough evidence is found, the full recovery team is scheduled and dispatched. In this instance, after the site was identified, 14 paratroopers of the 173rd Brigade cleared the area of trees, brush, and other vegetation and prepared the site for excavation. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne, and don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching.